Okay, if anyone just likes to put their thumbs up, they can see my screen okay. Brilliant, thanks Phil. So welcome everyone for attending today's webinar. We'll be exploring volunteer programs that engage one-to-one with clients and find out if volunteer impact, along with client impact, is the right software for your organization. As I said, I think everyone's already on mute. That's great. If you have got any questions along the way, try and hold them towards the end, if that's okay, just as there will be a 5-10 minutes Q&A session as well. And if everyone's happy with that, we'll begin. So I'm pleased to say I'm joined today by my co-host, Jade McManus from Demelza Hospice Care for Children, who is one of our loved members, and she'll share with you her journey on choosing the right software and her outcome on using volunteer and client impact. So just to start, a little bit about us too. So I'm Daniel Green, Software Sales Advisor for Better Impact. I support small to enterprise-sized organisations across UK, Europe and Africa who are exploring our software solutions. As you can probably tell from my accent already, I'm born and raised in Essex, UK, having spent most of my career in sales and helping people achieve their goals. My interests include being a busy dad to my 11-year-old son, and I have a keen passion for most sports as well. Over to you, Jade.
Yeah, so I'm Jade and I've worked in the volunteering department at Demelza. Well, it's coming up to 7 years now. And I've kind of worked in every role within the volunteering team. So I started off as the administrator, then kind of looking after our fundraising volunteers, then hospice, and now looking after our kind of care and drive-in volunteers. So at Demelza, we have approximately just over 1,000, about 1,100 volunteers across the organisation. We have 2 hospices, we have a community team, and we have 28, soon to be 29 shops. So kind of volunteers spread out right across the southeast region. But yeah, so that's us.
Brilliant, thanks Jade. So some of you may be using our software already. Some of you may be new to Better Impact, or maybe just looking into clients' impact. So whatever your case may be, I'm sure there'll be a lot to take away from today, which will include common problems facing programs that match volunteers to clients. We'll have a quick program assessment combined with 4 questions. Why the right software tools matter as well. Jade will share her journey and tips to successfully finding software. We'll have a quick high-level overview of volunteer and clients' impact. And stick around, guys, as there'll be a few resources and a link at the end to obtain your PDU certificate. PDU is a professional development unit, sometimes referred to as a CEC, which is a continued education credit. So yeah, this link will be shared with all attendees at the end. So yeah, stick around. So there's a vast array of orgs running programs whereby volunteers engage one-to-one with clients to deliver a service. So on screen are just some of the examples to show you. We have, hospice, patient care, tutor mentoring programs, pet therapy, social services. All these commonly engage one-to-one with clients. So if your org is running such a program, then you're in the right place today. So just some of the common problems faced by many orgs running programs where volunteers engage one-to-one with clients. As a volunteer engagement professional, there's many problems you may encounter on a day-to-day basis, which can ultimately lead you to feeling dissatisfied. So some of these problems could be volunteer and client data managed in multiple disconnected systems, could be unsecure methods of volunteers reporting on client interactions, maybe it's too much data entry, or there's not enough time to lead and engage your volunteers and clients, or maybe you're working on a tight or small budget. Well, hopefully for many of you, we have the solution. So as I'm here representing Better Impact today, I'll just bring to your attention, it's great to know Volunteer Impact is a top-rated solution and Client Impact is an optional module add-on where organisations seek to bring their volunteer and client management efforts integrated into one platform. We're just going to go through some questions now, so feel free to pop your answers in the chat and we'll see what answers we come up with. So question 1. Which problem resonated with you the most from the last slide? Was it number 1, managing data in multiple or disconnected systems? Number 2, unsecure methods of volunteers reporting on your clients' interactions? Number 3, too much data entry? Number 4, not enough time to lead and engage with your volunteers and clients? Or is it number 5, working with a small or a tight budget? I'll give you about 30 seconds or so, if you wouldn't mind, just popping in your answers in the chat, that'd be great. So Jacqueline's gone with number 1. Sarah at Pembrokeshire Frame, number 1, 4 and 5. And all of the above. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, it does seem whenever we carry out these Q&As in these webinars, particularly on question 1, I think number 1 seems to resonate with most volunteer engagement professionals as well. Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. So on to question 2. How are you managing your volunteers currently? Is it number 1, through spreadsheets? Number 2, a VMS, which is volunteer management software? Or is it number 3, something else? If it is number 2, actually, it'd be great to find out which VMS that is that you're using currently. And even with number 3, it'd be great to find out what it is you're currently using. And again, I'll give you 30 seconds or so just to pop your answers in the chat. One and 3 seems to be the outcome. And it is number 1, spreadsheets. You'll be surprised how many organizations out there are still using spreadsheets. You know, some of them are free, which is great. But does it do all the functions, you know, a volunteer management software can offer, basically? Thanks, everyone. On to question 3. How are you managing your clients currently? Is it number 1, spreadsheets again, number 2, a CRM, or again, number 3, is it something else? One and 3 again. Yep, seems to be the kind of pattern 1 and 3, which does resonate with a lot of people through current webinars and current people I deal with. It always seems to be spreadsheets as well. So on to question 4. In your opinion, what's most at risk if a change doesn't occur sooner rather than later? And again, just use the chat function to pop in your answers. So number 1, is it volunteer turnover disengagement? Is it number 2, client turnover disengagement? Number 3, staff turnover disengagement? Number 4, is it wasted money? Number 5, damage to organisation's programme reputation? Or is it 6, something else? I'll just give it another 30 seconds if it's okay. Just pop your questions in. Phil's put 1, 4 and 5. Most of those to varying degrees from Jacqueline. Yeah, like I say, it could be more than 1, could be all of them. And the reason, you know, even just you're pulling in some of these answers is a prime reason why you're here today in this and joining this webinar. Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. So why having the right tools for the job matter? Did you know more than half of all employees are unhappy at work because of the software tools they're using? Have you ever become dissatisfied at work due to missing or mismatched software? And there we go. That's quite a surprising stat. Yes, at 51.95%. These stats, by the way, they come from G2's 2019 States of Software Happiness Report. There is a link there at the bottom. Feel free to check that out whenever you want to. But being provided the right tools to perform the job plays into our level of job satisfaction. So when the right tools are not in place, our level of efficiency and effectiveness decreases. This is one factor that can contribute to unhappiness in our role. About one in every 8 employees have quit a job because of mismatched software. That's quite alarming. So the fact that this is cited reason for people leaving a job speaks to just how important it is to outfit employees with the right tools for the job. Turnover is disruptive to progress and goal attainment as well. So let's get you working with the tools that make you feel less frustrated and rather more empowered and productive when you do your job. That's enough of my voice now. I'm going to pass you over to Jade, who achieved just that. Over to you, Jade.
Yeah, hi. So a bit about how our team started looking for a kind of volunteer management software. So we were finally given the go-ahead and the budget was approved for us to find something to manage kind of all of our volunteers. Back in April 2017, we kind of had started looking before then, but we knew that we kind of didn't have the resources to take anything on. What we used to do was we used to use kind of the central database for the organisation. So at the time that was Donaflex, which was mainly built for fundraising, and we had to manually add our volunteer records into the system each week. We had other systems in place to make it work. There was an awful lot of paper, a lot of scanning and keeping things in files on computers. And we had a lot of workarounds in place, so things like Excel sheets to track training and expiry dates, that then had to kind of match up to what was on Donaflex and what was scanned in. So we had kind of lots of different things in lots of different places, and we're trying to make it work for us.
Brilliant, thanks, Jade. And these were some of the challenges, wasn't it, that occurred? You see, we put it in a pie chart there of what it was before you came on and used Better Impacts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of our challenges was obviously the manual inputting and manual kind of everything was manual in all of our systems. And one of the main things as well when we were using the central database was that everyone had access. So every kind of month when we had to pull the reports of how many volunteers we had, at least 3 or 4 people would have gone missing and been deleted. And it was because Lottery had taken them off and deleted them, and we'd lose our volunteers and we couldn't find them on any systems until we then had to manually go through all of our paper records to find out who'd been deleted that week. Lots of stuff in different places, so taking time to kind of pull it all together. And also we didn't have kind of control over a lot of the information. We couldn't change things, and we had to put in requests to get things changed. So it took a long time and things got missed. So I think definitely for us, one of the main challenges was that nothing was automatic, and we had to kind of rely on hopefully things pulling together at the end of it for us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jade. And your journey?
Yeah, so we started off doing our research. So I think earlier, Phil, you said that you're doing exactly what we did. So I think we started with about 8 different companies we'd heard of and started kind of doing our research, speaking to other organisations, other hospices to find out what they were using and whether it kind of would work for us and what we wanted the kind of the management system to do. We knew for us, we wanted our kind of individual managers of our volunteers to be able to access their information. So one of the problems that we'd had was, for example, our shop managers couldn't find emergency contact details for volunteers because they were scanned into a paper system. So we knew that we wanted lots of different managers to have access to it. And we wanted a way to kind of organise our volunteers on the system. We had kind of demos from about 5 different software providers, initially video calls, and then finally we had 2 providers come and do a face-to-face kind of demonstration with us and talk about our specific kind of needs and kind of what we needed and what the platform could work for us. So not surprising that we went with Better Impact, which is why I'm here today. Yeah, and we confirmed with the team, and then our IT department kind of helped with exporting all of the information from our kind of central systems and got it all uploaded onto Better Impact. So yeah, initially it was a bit tricky working out how we wanted the system to work and how it was set up. We were where we hadn't had our own system before, we were trying to match what we already had, when actually now we've got used to Better Impact, it can organise things a lot better than we were trying to mirror how we'd had it before. But yeah, we kind of changed things to suit us, and it saved us an awful lot of time. So yeah, why we chose Better Impact, what made the decision. So it allows restricted access for our managers. So at Demelza we have the enterprise model. So it basically means that we can set what each of our managers can see, which volunteers they have access to, and also what they can do on the record. So they might be able to view it and not edit it, things like that. So particularly, like I said, in shops, it means that they don't have to store paper information. It's all on their tablets, providing their internet's working, and it means that they can have access out of hours to emergency contacts and things all in one place as well. Also, it saved us so much time with the automated process. So volunteers could finally apply online. We never had online applications before this programme. It was all paper, and now we do all online applications, or if we speak to people over the phone, we can do it for them. So their application then becomes their database record, which is amazing. It means we didn't have to input anything, and we can attach documents to their records, monitor qualifications, expiry dates. It's all in one place, which is amazing for us. And then the additional features that we've kind of found as well whilst we've been using the system, so kind of the logging the volunteer hours. So things like with our care volunteers, we have to put those into reports, how many hours the volunteers spend helping our families. Volunteers, now they're great, they can log in. It took a little time getting used to, but they log in and log their own hours. They can be made automatic, or they can do it themselves. So it kind of really saves us a lot of time, and being able to report it. We used to do hours by manually looking at the signing in sheets for the day and writing down what people had done and what time they'd arrived and what time they left. So it's a lot kind of a slicker system on there. I think I've covered pretty much everything.
Brilliant, you have.
That's it.
You speak so much there, I was losing track, but no, that's brilliant.
Sorry, I was waffling on.
That's absolutely fine. Waffling is good. It's good.
Daniel, can I just ask Jade a quick question?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just a very quick one, Jade, on what you were just saying there. I am now where you were with the wonderful donor flags. Yeah. How did you find it? Did you get any resistance from fundraising? Because fundraising still want access to all the data for our volunteers from a mailing point of view. So did you encounter any resistance, and how do you sort of make sure the data that we've got is either, you know, for volunteers that have agreed to receive marketing stuff, how does that transfer into fundraising?
Yeah, so there wasn't resistance as such, but they said obviously we need to make sure that the volunteer records are kept up to date on the central donor flex system. So what we actually do is we do a monthly export out of Better Impact for them. So we pull it out and it it's just into an Excel sheet, and one of where you can add different bits about your volunteers, one of the custom fields we actually had was their DonorFlex ID number. So by doing that, fundraising log into Better Impact themselves, they pull the report and then they import it into DonorFlex, and it updates all addresses, postcodes, contact information that's changed. They can pick and choose what they want to get off of the export. So our team now, they only want the addresses, contact information and mailings. They don't care about anything else like training. So yeah, they do it, and they do it in a monthly Excel export, and then they upload it onto the system, and they do it that way. And then if there's new volunteers, it automatically creates a new record, and they just sent us a list with kind of the 10, 15 in a month of new volunteers and their new DonorFlex IDs for us to put into Better Impact. So we don't do the export the other way around, but they take it from Better Impact and they update their system with it every month.
Good. So the important thing is the two systems talk to each other and we can come together.
Yeah, it's only by kind of literally an exporting the data from Better Impact into an Excel sheet. So I don't know the technical side of how it works over the other side, but they do it all. They're more than happy with the Excel sheet, and
Yeah,
then
we'll upload.
they upload it.
You kind of download the specifications and we can upload it for you in a nutshell anyway. But I'll send you some more info regarding that anyway. Or if you've got any other questions, yeah, we can put it in the chat towards the end if that's okay, Phil. And just going back onto what Jade's journey has been through. This is some of the results you can see here on the screen now using Better Impact. You know, the hours saved. 1,840. I think that works out to quite a substantial amount of days, value of time, and return of investment as well. And there we go, just some of the results of satisfaction, efficiency and effectiveness of before Better Impact and after Better Impact as well. Excellent. I will now share my screen and we'll go through a high level demo of the software as well. So bear with me 1 second. I may have been logged out. Still in. Okay, can anyone give me a thumbs up that I can see my dashboard okay? Yep, brilliant. Thank you, guys. So here is the Better Impacts dashboard. So as an administrator, this is the screen you're presented with as soon as you log in. As I mentioned, your dashboard. On here, this is all dummy data, obviously. We're using an example hospice account. And on this dashboard, you will see this status update box here. This represents all your volunteers through their journey from beginning to the end in 5 different statuses. Okay, so we've got applicants. So these are all volunteers that have started an application form. I'll go back onto applications in a little while, but once you create application forms, you can embed this into your website and drive for recruitment. Any applicants that have started your application form but not yet finished, they're going to land automatically in your Better Impact account as an applicant. The next one along is the in-process status. So these are all volunteers that have completed your application form. However, you're still waiting to approve or reject any custom fields or qualifications that come in, as well as you can set permissions on them. Next one along is all your accepted volunteers. So everyone accepted in your program. And then these last 2 statuses are probably more towards the end of their volunteer journey with you. You have inactive, which are all volunteers that are taking a long leave of absence or just taking a break from volunteering or medical maternity leave, but at some point will be returning back to your program. And lastly, you've got archived. So all your volunteers that are archived, as you can see there on the box, for numerous reasons, didn't start, rejected, dismissed, moved on, resigned, whatever the case may be. And as this is volunteer and client impact, If you do have the client impact module integrated with volunteer impact, which you can easily do, it would show up here in the client tab here. And again, your clients will have the same status journey with your organization program as well. These are just pin searches. I'll come back to these in a little while when we cover the people search and communications. But what we're going to mainly cover today, as I mentioned, it's a high-level overview demo, which is going to focus on these main icons at the top here. Now, I'm going to start with the configuration icon. This is really important and one you'll probably use mostly when you set up and start beginning setting up your Better Impacts accounts and configuring all your needs. Any of these icons, when you click on, will bring up all these subcategories on the left-hand side. Okay, so for example, your organization settings, it's good to know that you can brand the My Impact page, which is the volunteer and clients login portals, to your own kind of banner and logo, as well as a public page that you'll be able to create and brand and add this onto your website as well. We've got profile customization. So you will be able to create custom fields. I like to call them your customized data collecting questions. So this is, and these will be combined and added to your application forms as well, and will be stored on each volunteer and client profile as well. So here's just an example of some custom fields we've created. We've put them into categories as well, which you can do. So we've got an About You category, and then the custom fields to follow in that category are: why are you interested in volunteering with us? What dates can you start volunteering? Criminal history, emergency contacts and health considerations, references, forms, and we also have clients information. So it's good to know you have 3 application forms you can work with within Better Impact. With client impacts also, there'll be a client induction or acknowledgement form included as well. So you'll add all these custom fields. You can add them to whatever application forms they need to go to. And if you see on a client information one there, you can add them to the client form as well. And if we go down here, just give you an idea of what this could look like. So application form settings in the recruitment section. We click on here. So for some of you that may be just using volunteer impact, you would just have the volunteer 1, 2, and 3 application forms to work with. But now with client impact, we have that client acknowledgement intake form as well. So on here, you've got your general settings. You can add a new volunteer automated email message that will go out to all new applicants. You've got some step 1 settings as well. So, you know, be able to show required contact information fields on the application form. You'd be able to add policies and an acceptance checkbox as well, just to say, you know, similar to when people have read terms and conditions when they're applying online. And also you can add a volunteer policies text in here as well with any links. And then down here, your application forms will be combined of things like general interests, which are more like want ads. So the area or the field that a volunteer is interested in. You know, that could be befriending, bereavement support, fundraising events, reception, and so on. You create these general interests. These are just ones we've created on here. Your qualifications and your custom fields as well. So once you've created all them, you literally embed a link for this into your website, and that's where you're going to drive for recruitment of volunteers and clients. And here as well, just back onto the profile customization, is where you can also add all your qualifications as well. So you can have them as an exact match, you can have them ranked, you can add expiry dates to these. So for example, if you do have a DBS background check, you can add expiry dates. And what's really good with this as well, and it's great for auditing, is that when them qualifications are due to expire soon, they will flag up on your dashboard just underneath them status circles, let you know that that's going to be expiring soon. That will just prompt you as an administrator to reach out to that volunteer, if they haven't done so already, just to get that qualification renewed, as they may not be eligible now moving forward for the role they're participating in. Like I said, I'd love to cover everything on here, but I know it's a high level overview. So I'll just go through some of the fundamental key features, manage activities as well. So on here, you'll be able to create your activities. You can put them into categories similar to your custom fields. I'll just give you a quick example of creating a new activity. And what's different with this now that we've got clients impact included and integrated, is we have the client tab here. So with volunteer impact and client impact, you create your activities. You can give them a schedule. If I go across here, you can give them a schedule, so you can have recurring patterns, disjointed, a one-time only, more for events, seasonal, or just no schedule at all. If you have an activity that volunteers can sign up as of when they feel free to do so. But on here, I'll just keep it to recurring pattern. I'll just put in a quick time to add your shifts in, 10 till 12. And again, you choose the date, the times, add another shift. Let's say this one's on a Wednesday. It's been 10 till 12 again. And there we go. And then you can add as many shifts in as you like. Also save these shifts as shift templates as well that you can use for future use. And you'll just give it a start and an end date. You go across to visibility and automation. You can choose which people sees these activities. Would you like it just to volunteers who are only signed up, assigned, or on the backup list? Visible to all volunteers who are accepted and qualified. So for example, if this activity needs a DBS background qualification and I haven't got that, as a volunteer, when I log into my impact page volunteer portal, I won't see that for me to apply for. Or would you like it public, where you could just share it on your public page for people to sign up for? And then you'll give your activities a minimum and maximum amount needed for that. So I've just done a 1 to 2. Go across, you add any qualifications that are needed for this activity, along with feedback fields. So it's great to know you can create feedback fields to gather this information once this has been carried out from a volunteer. But most importantly, yes, with client impact on here, you can associate a client to this activity. You can only associate one client per activity as well. So if you've got a group of clients, you can't combine one activity for a group of clients. It would just be one client per activity. For example, if it's a befriending visit, for example, and then you would just add in the name of the client. Here we go, Katie Smith, onto that, and then save. And then down here, there's some feedback fields I mentioned. So everything starts off blank in your account to begin with, but on here, you'd create the feedback fields. And this is a way just to gather information from them volunteers on carrying out them activities. But what's really good but with client impact is that you'll also be able to log encounters, or your volunteers will be able to log encounters, sorry. And they would look something like this. And this is something I'll show you when we go onto a demo My Impacts page. I'll show you what it looks like from the volunteer perspective as well. But on here, again, you've got the feedback fields, but this is a way to gather more information on them encounters that volunteers have with clients. And it could look something like this. And this is all something you'll be able to report on as well. If I go across at the top here, let's go back to the people icon. Click on here. This is where you can add administrators. You've got unlimited administrators in your software. You can add volunteers, and you can also add clients. You can do this manually, obviously with the volunteers. They'll be able to sign up through your application forms and they'll automatically go into your account, but you can add them manually. And this is where you can do a people search as well. So if you just want to search for a group of particular clients or volunteers, you can do so. Just click on here. Let's say you just want a quick list of all your accepted clients, for example. Click on that. This is like a filtering page. Press search, and there we go. 23 accepted clients. You can also filter these searches down as well. So just by adding the search criteria, if you want to put something, let's do, you've got contact information, custom fields, all this you can kind of search through just to break down that search criteria. Let's do a custom field. Let's do client information. Do you have any medical conditions we should know about? And again, this is all the information that you would have created. Contains is, let's say, is not empty. And then go. And there we go. We've got 2 people there accepted with that information supplied. And just on here as well, with client impact, you'll also be able to see the connections your volunteers have with clients. So on here, we've got volunteers and associated clients, and put it vice versa there as well. So click on here. There's a list, a quick overview of all your volunteers and the clients they're associated with. Each volunteer, they can be associated with more than just one client as well. And here you'll be able to see them clients encounters. Excellent. If I move over to the communication icon next, click on here. So with communication, there's 3 main methods. You'll be able to send an email, send a text, and you could do a mail out as well. You could do this in mass. You could do this in filtered groups, which I'll show you a quick example now, or you could just do this to individuals as well. So if I want to send, let's say, a mass email out to all the volunteers, let's say ones that are accepted, I'll just choose my accepted box, press search. There we go, there's 106 people found. And I can put in here the body of my email. I can add images, attachments, links, and I can send that email. I can send with priority. I can have a read receipt on these as well. But what's really cool, and this is a really cool feature, is that you can create email templates within the software as well. So if you are sending out an email on a monthly, weekly basis, create it as an email template, and you can do that with just a few clicks of a button. So as I'm on clients, accepted, let's just send an email out of all clients that are interested in pet therapy. And there we go. There's a first name and placeholder there. So when the recipient receives that, it'd be like, hi, Mary, hi, Jane, hi, Katie. And then your email is good to send. But let's break this down now. Let's say you want to reach out to, sorry, I was on the volunteers section there, but you could do that with clients. But while I'm on volunteers, let's add another search criteria. Let's say I just want to reach out to everyone that gives their hours at weekends only. Maybe a new activities come up as a befriended service for weekends only, and you want to search which volunteers are available. Let's just choose general availability. We'll check Saturday and Sunday. Add go. And there we go, 3 people were found. And again, if you have an email template, you can use that. Or you can just put in your own one. Send, and it will go out to the recipients. On to scheduling next. So again, on the left-hand side, these subcategories, you'll be able to check out your scheduling. You'll be able to schedule and assign volunteers to activities as well. You can do this from a list or a calendar format. If I just show you what it looks like from a calendar. So here we can see June. There's lots of red and lots of blue. The colours represent that the red is vacant. So the minimum amount of volunteers needed for activity has not been matched yet. So that probably needs some attention. Right through to blue, which means the minimum amount of volunteers has been confirmed, and that doesn't need that much attention. So if we check out, because you can hover over any of the days. So let's check out Thursday, the 8th of June, click on the day, and there we go. It brings up all the activities, and you can see administration receptionist needs some attention. You can click on this one, You could do a filtering page here as well. Press search to see who comes up, who's available, who's qualified that you can assign. You can do this, individually or in bulk and assign it to them activity. And that just leaves reporting. So it's great to know that you can report on pretty much anything and everything, as long as you have that data tracked and recorded in your accounts, in your software. So just some of the, I'll just show you some examples of reporting. Let's do hours by volunteer. So if you click on here, it's good to know whatever reports you create, you will be able to export that to CSV and Excel as well. You can report over any date period. So let's do year to date on hours by volunteer, view reports. And there we go. Number of hours with the top volunteer with the most hours and entries, right down to the bottom of the least hours. And at the bottom, it gives you total hours, number of volunteers, and average per volunteer as well. So many different reports. You've got them in bar graphs, you've got them in kind of column formats. Here's an hours trend, which is bar graph. We'll do this from the previous year. And there we go. Number of hours by month. And it gives you the bar graph content over each month, number of volunteers with logged hours by month, and average per volunteer. You'll also be able to report on them clients' reporting data. We click on here. You've got your basic fields there, first name, last name. You can check which ones are needed, and your clients' reporting fields. View clients' reporting data. And there we go. Like I say, what's really good about the client reports and the general reports underneath here on personal profile or data is that you can make these bespoke and just choose the fields you want to report on as well. And as I mentioned, you can export this to CSV and Excel as well. What I'll show you now is what the volunteer profile looks like. So at the top here in this top right, click on this little people person. And then in this search box, type in the name of your volunteer. I'm going to use our demo volunteer, Victoria. As soon as you start typing in the name, the system starts to match what you're typing, and you can just click on the associated name. So I clicked on Victoria Smith. This is her profile. And on here, this is just the kind of the main dashboard section. You can upload a profile picture of Victoria. She can do that as well from My Impacts page account. I can see a quick snapshot of her contact information and history, her contributions by month, the hours contributed over each month. And there's a total hours by activity pie chart. And something as well that you can give your volunteers are badges. This could be signs for awards, anniversaries, number of hours, hours milestones, and also qualifications. So on here, we've got some subtabs here. So communications, click on communications. This is just if I want to send Victoria an email, I can do so. If I just want to assign Victoria to any activities, I can do this on her behalf just by going on the assign tab. I can see Victoria's schedule. See this in a list format, which is just this one here. I can also see this in a calendar format if I need to. So on the calendar format, you will be able to, there we go. Not much there. She's not been active this month, but I can send off that report to her by post if she wants something tangible by hand to put on her fridge, for example. I can see her hours, all her logged hours. I can report on just Victoria if I need to, maybe on hours over a certain time period. You can add Victoria to a committee. So you will be able to create committees within the software. It's a great way for your volunteers to engage with each other. Just think of it as like a WhatsApp group via email as well. And here I'll be able to see Victoria's connections. So which clients is Victoria associated with? And just on these tabs underneath here, I can see her contact information, her custom fields. So when she filled this in, all this information is stored directly onto her profile, her qualifications, her general interests, general availability. As you see there, she's not available weekends. And you've got a miscellaneous tab here. On here as well, you'll be able to see the date she joined. And on here as well, you'll be able to change her status. If she's no longer volunteering with you for a period of time, you may want to make her inactive. Or if she's resigning, for example, you may want to move her to archived. Excellent. I'll quickly show you now, because I know we're short on time, what it looks like from the volunteer perspective. I've just got to log in because this will have logged me out. So bear with me 1 second, everyone. All right, let me share my screen. Everyone see that okay? Brilliant. So I've logged in as Victoria Smith. So this is what we call the My Impacts page. It's the volunteer login portal, which is also app-based, so your volunteers will be able to download this for free on any Android or iOS version. And it's free to download. So on here, obviously, this is the desktop version. I've logged in as Victoria Smith. Here we go, at the top here, this is the branding. So this is what we call the banner. So this will be all your branding of your organization at the top here. You can even customize the color of the tabs and the backgrounds to match your organization colors. And on here, you're going to see a lot of similar information we just saw from Victoria's profile from the admin portal. But on here, I can see my badges. I can see my profile picture, which I can edit if needs be. You've got an image gallery here. This is a Flickr feed, so this is a bit of an old school social media, but it is available. However, you can add all your social media feeds here on the right. You can add a personal message. You can send Victoria a personal message from her profile, and it will pop up here on the dashboard, and only Victoria will be able to see this. There's a news feed as well. You'll be able to create a news feed to pop up on the My Impacts page where all volunteers will be able to see this news feed. At the bottom here, this is our vision. So this is your mission statement. And in the bottom right, you have got a resource in Better Impacts called a document library. It's a great place if you want to store, volunteer handbooks, waiver forms, policies. If you do wish to share them with your volunteers, you can do so, and they will be visible and accessible to your volunteers under the file section. Back up the top here, we've got some quick tabs we'll go across. So as a volunteer, I would like to see what opportunities are coming up. I can see this in a list or a calendar format. Let's click on the calendar. It's a little bit more easier on the eye for me. And here we go. These are all the activities that I could sign myself up for. Let's say, and you can always color these as well to the type of activities as well. So that's something you'll be able to customize as well. But let's say I want to click on, I want to sign up for ward clerk. There we go. When you create an activity, you'll be able to give a description and qualifications needed. And it will show up here when you click on the activity, and I can just sign up here. I can see my own schedule as well. So this is the only one I've done at the moment, training, end of life care training. But more importantly as well is this tab here. So if you're a volunteer and Client Impact is enabled, you'll only be able to log hours. But now with Client Impact, your volunteer will also be able to not just log their hours, but their connections as well. So if I do just want to log hours, I can click on here, choose the activity, put in the date I volunteered, the hours and minutes, and I can log my my hours. But with connections, so this is the client reporting section, as we mentioned back in reports. You can make them displayed differently as well. What was the nature of your assignment? So I've just come back from, let's say, companionship. Patient appeared to be, and like I say, you can customize these client encounters. It's just an extra field of feedback, basically. You can put all these in, you can manipulate if you want drop-down menus, check boxes, date fields, number fields. Once I've logged all that, that'll feed back into the admin portal. This is just the reports for my own benefit here. I can see my hours contributed over the past year and the hours per month. And go on contact. This is where I could contact an administrator. And what's more importantly as well, down here, it's not added if you're just using volunteer impacts as a volunteer. I'll be able to see my client's information. You can choose whether you want to have this shared or not with the volunteers. That discretion is down to the organisation, but on here, we've allowed the contact information to be shared with the volunteer. So if she does need to reach out to Charlie Canterbury or Katie Smith, she can do so. And in my profile, this is just my contact information. Again, the similar information you would have seen from the profile from the admin portal. Additional info. I can always upload these at any time as well, or change something or update it. And my qualifications, many more as well, but I know we're almost out of time. So let me stop there and go back to the webinar. Can everyone see my webinar again? Back on the results page? Yep, brilliant. So now that you've seen the demo and you've heard Jade's story and learned a little bit about volunteer and client impact, I'll share with you our story and why people love Better Impact. So Better Impact started by fluke. It was our CEO, Tony's passion project of building a web-based volunteer management software solution for a residential hospice he founded, which then birthed the beginnings of a global We're Here to Help company. We're just over 20 years old now. We're a small company with a global impact. We have offices in UK, Canada, USA, and Australia, with customers all over the globe. We specialise in volunteer management software, volunteer impact, but we're also providers of, as we mentioned, client, donor, and member solutions that all integrate with volunteer impact. And last and mainly, we are a We're Here to Help company. So wrap it up. Just some emails coming your way. I will be sharing this webinar recording with you all. That should be with you within the next couple of days. And you can be able to watch a comprehensive demo video of volunteer impact and client impact. So you'll be able to see that in a little bit more detail. And there'll be a link as well to book in a time with me to chat one-on-one, so we can talk about your software needs. And most importantly, I'm now going to pop over a link for that PDU certificate. I'm just going to put this in the chat now. Bear with me 1 second. There we go, guys. So that's in the chat. I would suggest, now I've shared that you click on that link now, just to start beginning if you want to obtain that PDU. Also, it won't be available after the webinar. And lastly, I'd just like to say a big thanks to Jade and everyone in attendance. So thanks a lot, Jade. And now, if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Feel free to take yourselves off mute if you do have any questions, or pop it in the chat box, whatever whatever works well for anyone. Oh, Phil, I think you're talking, but you're on mute.
Sorry, thought I pressed it. I think I've got lots of questions, but I think I'll follow up.
Yeah, if you've got a few, yeah, feel free. If you want to ping me, an email, feel free to do so, Phil. If you want to book in a what we call a discovery call, I think we did have one some time ago, but feel free to book that in. You can do that from the website. I'll share a link with you as well. I'll pop that in the chat now, actually.
Yeah, no, that'd be great because, as I say, I'm going to move to the next stage of getting down to 3 and starting that process. But thanks, Jade. It's good to hear that you've been through the pain where I am and you've come out the other side.
Yeah, it does get better. there is better options out there, definitely.
Yeah.
There will be.
I guess one quick question, Daniel. Obviously, having the volunteer records is great. I guess there's going to come a time where if I want to import all my data from what I've got in the filing cabinet, it's going to be somebody sat there typing it all in, isn't it?
It will be. If you've got whether it's clients or volunteers data, we can do an import for you. I'm happy, when that time comes, I'm happy to share the specifications needed to prepare your data for imports. But it's just, literally just put it on. We would need it on an Excel spreadsheet, I do know, and we'll pretty much do the rest from there. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll explore that in more detail nearer the time. But
yeah, I've just put in the chat, by the way, my link to a discovery call. So if you do want a one-to-one with me, Phil, if you click on that, it should take you to a calendar where you can put in a time more suitable for you for a one-on-one.
Just ours, we did that. We did the export and Better Impact uploaded our data for us. So they took our data that we exported from DonorFlex and put it on the system, so we didn't have to manually do it ourselves.
Great, cheers. Thanks, Jade. And thanks, Daniel. It's good to get a refresh and catch up.
It is. It's been a while, Phil. It's been a while. Any other questions from anyone else?
Hi, not a question for me, just to say thank you. My headphone headset gave up when you started explaining your story, Jade. So I'm really looking forward to receiving a recording that you said you'd send out, just so I can listen to that from the start, as I missed the beginning. But thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, sorry to hear that, Sarah. Yeah, but you will be sent a recording of this, so you won't miss out on anything.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right. Okay. If that's it, then everyone, we'll finish up now. Again, feel free to ping me an email, book in a discovery call with me if you want to chat further or you've got any more further questions. I'm here to help. Again, thanks, Jade, for your help and sharing your journey. I wish everyone a happy Wednesday and goodbye.